Hello, this is Eddie in service. According to that little spinny thing right there, we're live right now. Um, I'm Eddie in service, and I'm here today at Alpha of Plano in Plano, Texas. And I'm with the service director, Josh Bouffard. And I think that introductions are extremely important because lets the viewers know kind of your background and your expertise so that when we're talking about the things that we're going to be talking about today, um, you know what you're talking about. So give us a 3 to 4 minute spiel about you and your past.
Well, good morning. I started my career at Universal Technical Institute, getting an education. When I graduated, I started at Christian Brothers Automotives as an oil changer. I spent about 6 years of the beginning of my career building that into being a line tech, what I would call a B tech. I wasn't quite an ASC master tech, but I was mid-tier. I could diagnose, just not like rapidly. And that's when I met Eddie Campbell over here, who convinced me to become a service advisor. So I transitioned from the role in the shop to becoming a service advisor. Learned how fun it could be because I naturally had a personality for people, helping. I had the service heart. And Eddie taught me how to utilize that to actually help customers, and started doing competitions, and it just got fun because I'm competitive.
Yes, you are.
Became an advisor there, worked my way up to becoming a drive manager, all the way to service manager, and then coming and transferring into here to become a service director. So I when I say I love and I have a passion for automotives, at the core of it, it starts in the shop, which is where I began, and expanding on that, because the happier your techs are, the more they take care of your customers, the more your customers you're taking care of, the more they take care of you. So it's a never-ending cycle of having to keep that relationship going, which is where I've gotten to where I am now at the age of 35, running an Alfa Romeo and a luxury dealership, just having the time of my life, getting to see people's lives change.
Yeah, I remember, I don't know how old you were when we first started working together, but I always had contests at every dealership I was ever at, hours per RO, smallest RO list, just anything I could. And Josh would win every one of them. The other advisors wouldn't even compete after a while. I started having to invent contests that I thought you couldn't win, and you still won them. So, I'm looking at you in those headphones. I have a picture of you back then. I had like a pair of $500 Alpine headphones. They're probably in a box in your closet somewhere. But they used to you used to win every single TV, headphones, contest, whatever. So I remember that.
Those pioneers were CSI contests for the most return on surveys with the highest score.
Yeah.
And I believe I had 27 return surveys that month with almost a perfect score.
And you had this terrible untrimmed beard.
Oof.
I remember that.
Went all the way down here.
And some big weird glasses. I remember that. Do you have contacts now, or you?
I had LASIK surgery done.
Okay.
So no more contacts, no more glasses.
Yeah. Now you're a cool guy with stuff in your hair, and
I've got well-kept hair now. It's not the bushy hairstyle I used to have, where it was every direction. I might post a picture
on here later if I can find it.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we do on Eddie in Service is we want to help customers feel comfortable taking their car to the dealership. So we talk about everything that would help them do that. And taking care of a customer's car is a lot of people's responsibility. I think it's the manufacturer is where it starts, at the very top when they're building the car, to the dealership that ends up getting that car and selling it, to the general manager, the service manager, the advisor, and the technician, and the customer who's on the receiving end of everything. So a lot of times I think the customers think, hey, this is my car, figure it out. And we do that a lot, probably more than we want. But just like in life, there's so many things you can do to make your life better. Like go to bed early on time. If you got to go to work early the next morning, don't stay up till 2 a.m. playing video games. And a lot of people do that, but I just found that when I started going to bed earlier, my next day was a whole lot better. So, do you play video games?
I love video games.
Okay.
Bad example.
Yeah. So imagine what your day would be like if you pulled that back a little bit and got a little bit more rest. But you were the first one here this morning when I pulled up.
Definitely the first one here this morning. I get here about an hour early every day.
You always have been an early guy.
Like to start my day off ready.
What time did you go home last night?
Last night I left here at about 7:30, 8 o'clock.
So it was a long day.
And we close at 6.
Yeah.
So just trying to wrap it up, making sure we stayed late. We had a hiccup on a car one of the technicians was working on. He was trying to go buy some tools this weekend so he could fix it this morning. We decided to just take care of it last night and extracted some bolts for him with one of my heavy line guys, just so he could come in this morning and keep moving forward to get the customer their car back.
There's a lot of great stories like that. I knew a guy one time, the lady needed her car the next morning. She was going out of town. I think there was a death in the family or something like that. You probably remember him, Ilya. Remember the Russian guy that worked at Huff Hines for a while?
Yes.
Couldn't get the part till like 3 days. His wife happened to have the same car. He drove home like at 8 o'clock at night, took the part off of her car, drove back to work, put it on her car, and worked till midnight so that when she showed up at 7 the next morning, her car was ready and she could go. When there's a lot of great stories like that customers don't hear. They hear a lot of negative, but just like what you guys did last night and what that other guy did, there's a lot of good stories like that.
Oh, they do. I mean, even where I was at prior, Friday night, we had a lady traveling from Houston all the way up to Arkansas to go back to visit due to a death in the family, and her car broke down about 3 miles from the dealership. We got it towed up there, and we were there until almost 11 o'clock that night to get her back on the road so that she could be for the memorial service and the funeral on time. Technicians stayed late. Actually, 2 technicians stayed late. We bought her and her kids dinner because the kids were in the car with her. They were stuck at the dealer. We bought dinner.
Yeah.
I figured out how to get Roku on the TV, and I put Disney on for the kids so that they weren't stuck watching our lovely advertisements that you always see in the dealership waiting areas.
Mm-hmm.
So we just tried to make that environment a little more comforting for them, as they were already in an uncomfortable situation, having to travel for a funeral and a death in the family, and then getting stuck on the road. It's just it's preventable by taking care of cars in a proper manner, and that falls back on all of us. But when situations arise like that, I mean, we can all hope if it happened to our family, somebody would do the same for our family.
So before we go into that, will you write down the word Alfa Romeo on it, and so everybody knows how I've heard it like 30 different ways. Romeo. What's the proper way to say that?
It's Alfa Romeo, spelt Romeo, as my wife likes to say, like Romeo and Juliet.
Okay. That's a good way to remember it.
So it's,
I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but that's how you spell it, because people ask me that question a lot, and sometimes I'm afraid I'm getting it wrong. So thanks for doing that. So I think the first tip that customers can do when they come in, and I know you and I have known each other for years, so we've seen so many instances of things that customers can do to make their visit better, because we're all responsible for having a good visit. Give me one that we can start with.
well, there's 2 that I think go hand in hand, which is what's done before arrival at the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
So if at all possible, it's always best to have a little gas in your car.
What's a little?
Preferably a quarter of a tank.
Yeah, you don't want the light on.
You don't want the light on, because if we do anything with the gas tank system, which is known as the evap system, it's got to have fuel in it to test it properly. It's got to be test driven. And if there's no gas in it, then we either have to wait for you to come put gas in it, or you have to agree to pay for the gas that's on the lot, which is generally a little more expensive than what's at the pump.
I had one dealership that charged $10 a gallon if you came in without it.
And it doesn't surprise me after you pay to transport it there and store it and all that stuff. And you have to keep the electronics up at the pump, because it's not a gas station. It's one pump on site that we have to maintain. And the other part of that is to have a relatively clean car. I'm not saying it has to have like a full detail, but on a lot of repairs, if you have an AC issue, a lot of times you've got to pull the glove box out. Center consoles sometimes have to get removed. So if those are full of just stuff, it's going to delay it, because either I've seen stuff come in with almost biohazard, where you have to actually remove it and throw it away and glove up and have almost suits on sometimes with what you find. You know, we all hate it. It's gross. Sometimes there's rodents that get in the dash. And if you're in there and you're trying to get all that out and you're working through a bunch of clutter, I mean, it just delays the process. And at the end of the day, if it delays the tech, it's delaying it back to the customer. And the goal at the end of the day is always to get the car back to the customer.
Yeah, I've actually seen roaches in car, not like one ran across the thing, but like so many that no employee would get in the car and refuse to get in it. So we had to go in the waiting room and get the customer to pull it around to the back of the shop. We didn't pull it in the shop. And they were a little offended, but I didn't want to get in it either, but there was fast food wrappers as deep as the seat cushion was up to the seats. And then we had another guy that, true story, people don't believe it, wore overalls, big old cowboy dude. He spit tobacco in the back seat.
Oof.
So as he's driving down the road, he just, and keeps going. So there's this massive, ugly brown pile of spit in the back seat. So luckily we didn't have to work back there, but that's some of the kind of stuff that we see, and it can slow down too. And I've also had it where we've had to tell the customer, we can't get to your like you said, under the seat. There's too much fast food wrappers and boxes crammed under the seat. We can detail it for you for $2.99, and which it needs, where they shampoo the carpets and all that. Then we'll work on it. And some say, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, chicken wing bones don't belong on the passenger floorboard.
Milk. We found milk carton, and the whole car stinks like whatever that's about. So yeah, it's keeping your car clean is important. And so when you get out of it, just take some trash while you're getting, throw it in the trash wherever you're going. And so I would say keep gas in your car, clean it as much as you can. Most places do a car wash when you get service. Do you guys do that?
We do a full car wash here.
Okay.
They'll wash it, we'll vacuum it. You can upgrade it and get it full detail, shampoo carpets. Our detail company even does ceramic wraps and ceramic coating if customers want that. So we do offer complimentary with everyone for the vacuuming it out. But even there, if they pull it back and it's full of fast food, they won't touch it because they're like, we can't get in there properly without risking contamination. We've seen mold on carpets because the food is just caked onto the carpet, and it's a liability for them to touch it at that point without the proper, I hate to use the phrase hazmat, but hazmat apparel.
Yeah. I did hear of a guy that got stabbed by a needle under the seat. Had to get treated, because somebody was shooting something and it was under the seat. So it is important to clean that out. And this podcast isn't to pick on customers; it's to help them have a successful
experience
visit when they come in.
Absolutely.
What was another tip that I had that kind of went along with that clean car thing? I'm old. It might come back to me in a minute. Any other ones that you can think of?
Another good one is when you arrive at the facility, whether it's an inside drive and an outside drive, whatever it might be, would be to allocate a little bit of time to make sure we're all on the same trajectory. A lot of times customers want to come in and, they set an appointment. And when you get to the dealership, the advisor's first job is to verify what you're here for. So it's not them not knowing what you're coming in for. It's they want to make sure, because a lot of times you'll set an appointment. My car's doing this, it's acting up on the highway, it loses power. And then after the fact, you're thinking, oh, it made that rattle noise too. So when we go over what might be going on with the car, we get to verify when you get here to make sure that we can address your concerns while it's here, and not, at the backside, we're calling you saying, hey, your vehicle's ready for pickup. Oh, I forgot while it's there, could you? And that just delays you getting your car back. So if we have everything up front and we allocate the time to go over, it helps. And I've talked to, and one of the biggest things I talk to my service staff about with advisors is noises, where any car that has 80 to 90,000 miles on it has rubber bushings, plastic pieces. There's so many different things that can make a noise. So I'm part deaf in one ear. So if you tell me you hear a noise coming from the front, my ears might tell me it's coming from the back, and I can hear it in the back. So a big rule of thumb I like to do is make sure I test drive with the customer for noises, because you might hear a noise and the technician might hear a different noise, and I might hear a third noise. And we fix the noise we hear, but we didn't fix the noise you hear. So anytime it's coming in for a rattle noise or rumbling noise, I would always say allocate an extra 15 minutes so we can go for a quick test drive together and make sure we're actually assisting you the way you want to be assisted. Instead of us fixing what we hear, either charging the manufacturer, charging a service contractor, charging you, and then immediately like the noise I was hearing is still there. And the tech is like, I fixed the noise I heard. So it's a communication barrier. So if we can all hear the same noise together, we can eliminate that altogether.
kind of goes back to that clean car thing. How many times has somebody brought a car in? It's happened to me dozens of times where somebody comes in and go, yeah, every time I turn right, I hear this weird noise on the right-hand side. It's trash rolling around inside the door panel or under the seat or something like that. So, or something hanging off the mirror that's making that noise when they turn. And cleaning out your car sounds like I'm harping on that, but I'm not. It can fix a lot of problems. You might clean your car and the noise go away on your way to the dealership, and you need to turn around and go back home. And if you clean your car out, lots of stories of somebody comes in for an oil change, they turn around, they come right back in, they say, hey, I had a $40,000 ring in that cup holder, and now it's gone. Was it really there? Was it not? Did somebody take it? Because, in the past, I have had some employees, car wash, whatever, take some change out of the thing. And some people on purpose put $1 in the cup holder to see if you're going to steal it or not, so that they don't have to trust your dealership. So just cleaning out the car. We've had people say we stole their gun. I heard of a case up north where a guy really did steal a gun and committed a crime with it, and they went looking for the owner of the gun who had it taken. So lots of people carry guns. It's Texas. So I say take it out before you go in, or keep it on you somewhere where somebody can't take it.
Absolutely. That especially with the gun, that's a really good rule of thumb, because not to scare people, but if that's stolen, you get the federal government involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
There's departments of the federal government that get involved for stolen firearms, for exactly what he was talking about. Somebody stealing a gun and killing somebody. Well, there's in-depth investigations, and you do not want to be wrongly in prison for that because somebody stole your gun and you didn't report it immediately.
I worked at a Lincoln store. The doctor brought his navigator in, said he had a noise in the left rear, ticking noise when he hit bumps. My tech walks up, throws a big old bag of marijuana on the desk. He goes, here's your noise. It's like, what? Yeah, I fixed it. The guy stuffed it in the trim of his headliner. So I took it out. The doctor said, hey, we got your car fixed. We didn't want to embarrass him or anything. So he takes it. He leaves. He comes back 10 minutes later. Who's got my stuff? I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, I had a bag of it in there. Like, yeah, that's what was called. And he goes, I don't care. I want my stuff. And so the tech ran and grabbed it, and I don't know what he was going to do with it, smoke it, sell it, whatever. But came back and gave it to the doctor, and he left. So there's so many weird things like that I've heard, people put a flat on their car, change out the spare, and hear a clanking noise for 6 months after that. It's because they didn't bolt down their spare good enough. There's just so many things the customer can do to have a good experience.
Found a golf ball in a spare tire compartment once, making a random rolling noise on sharp turns.
Mm-hmm.
Technician chased it for 3 hours looking underneath the car just for us to pull the spare tire at the end of it and be like,
yep,
there's a golf ball there.
Do you remember Donna Smith that we worked with back in the day?
She will actually be here next weekend.
Really? She just said, what a wonderful and inspiring duo.
She doesn't know it yet, but her rep that I've been talking to, Nick, is volunteering her to come out and help with us.
All right. So Donna, if you're still watching, Josh is going to call you. It's like 55 degrees out here. I'm a little cold. I wish I'd have got some hot chocolate or something like that. But that makes me also think what a customer can do. I noticed during the summertime, every service department is extra busy with customers. If they would spread out their maintenance, it wouldn't be such a hassle to bring it in during the summer. It's busy. Mistakes are being made. There's a lot of things happening during the summertime. And then during the wintertime, I guess people don't want to get out, or they don't think summer is as hard on their car as winter. But what do you think about customers bringing their car in the winter instead of summer? What's your thoughts on that?
I think it'd be a really good idea, especially everywhere I've been at. And Eddie's very accurate there. It slows down in the wintertime. So we all laugh we blame the state fair in Texas. But right around the state fair, it slows down and picks up again right around March. So in a repair in the summertime, that might take a week or two to do due to part availability, tech availability, workflow issues. A lot of times it's a 3-day repair during the wintertime because the volume isn't as high. And we also do most of our marketing discounts and advertisement during the wintertime to get car count up. So most of the time the price is a little low, and that just falls back on supply and demand. When there's a need for a lot of cars, you lower the prices and advertise lower prices. When you have lines of cars waiting to get worked on, it's supply and demand. The price doesn't drop as drastically. It's same with vacation weeks. The day before, Christmas or Thanksgiving,
which is
or
coming up.
whatever holiday it is, it gets really busy right about that same time frame. People wanting to hit the road, the day before you're hitting the road to take a vacation is not always the best point to make sure your car's safe for the road, because if something's found, there's a chance that car might not be ready to hit the road for your road trip. Try to do it a week or two ahead. And
I can't tell you over the years how many families have pulled up, all the kids are in the car, the back seat is loaded with luggage and ice chests and whatever. So the kids are in the waiting room, they're throwing stuff and running around, and you're trying to get on the road, because you got to pull, to the right or whatever you think you have an alignment problem, which is not going to align correctly with all that luggage in the back anyway. So yeah, don't wait till the last minute, because of, like, I think you told me a story about somebody that needed brakes. I know I had a lady that they were heading to, I think, Disneyland, and she needed tires. I mean, they were bad. She just didn't know how bad they were, like steel sticking out of them. And she was just crying. She was like, to do this, I have to use all my vacation money. Luckily, we had a way for her to finance them, and it saved her whole trip. I mean, she was so happy, gave us good Google review, all that stuff. She was really happy that we were able to get her on the road without spending her vacation money.
Absolutely. And like you were talking about the lady with the brakes, we had the finance option. She opted out of it. Her concern was the time, where she literally came in right before hitting the road saying, I want an oil change to make sure I'm safe for the road. We looked at her and said, well, your brakes are almost metal to metal. It's not really safe for your road trip. We need to knock these brakes out real fast. Turn the rotors, replace the pads. It was about $360. And she told me, no, I'm going to wait till after my trip. And sometimes I'm a little smart butt. And I kind of chuckled and said, no, you're going to do it halfway through your trip in the most inconvenient time. And on her way to Miami, she ended up having to do it at a little hole in the wall shop, like one of those small 2-bay garages attached to the parts shop. She had to do it there because she had no choice. And then she was having to buy rotors, and she actually had to buy a brake caliper because it seized up when the pistons started coming out, because it went metal to metal. So she ended up spending almost 4 times what she would have to do the brake pads and machining the rotors. And if she had done it while there instead of on the road. And at that point, she had her kids in the car, her husband was in the car, just the whole family there, trying to figure out what they're doing in the middle of nowhere on their way to Miami, Florida, from Dallas, Texas.
It's not fun getting you repaired on vacation. It's happened to me. I had a blowout one time, Nashville, maybe Tennessee, somewhere around there, and had to pull into the closest place. I think it was a Goodyear, and they didn't have the right tire in stock, so I had to put a different brand tire on. So now I got 3 tires in one brand and one new one in the other. And you're supposed to be out having fun on vacation. Instead, you're sitting in a waiting room for 3.5 hours getting a flat. So preventive maintenance, and I talk about it all the time, is just, you don't want to wait till the fluid's black or the tires are bald or the brakes are bad. It's called preventative. You want to replace the fluid before it gets bad or before the tire gets bad. So I think timing is everything. So I guess your takeaway from that was, don't wait till summertime to take your car in. If it needs something during the wintertime, it's a perfect time. There's more coupons on the internet, like you say, and definitely could make your visit a lot better.
Absolutely. And kind of what Eddie was talking about with preventative maintenance, it's always best to do it early. If your oil change, and I'll argue all day with the manufacturer on this, says 10,000 mile oil change increment, that's too late. If you're waiting 10,000 and then something happens and you can't come in for another week because you've got something going on at the house, or AC at the house went out and that they're fixing, and you can't get your car in, well, now you've had a long increment that you're doing late on top of that. It's problematic. Even though the manufacturer on a lot of these European cars, they say, 10,000 miles, that oil filter is not good for past 6,000. All of us that have done it for 10 plus years can tell you, we've seen inside these motors, when people stick to what the manufacturer says, it doesn't last. And
no, they're only worried about it till it gets out of warranty.
Exactly.
I tell customers a lot. They'll come in and go, how long are you keeping your car? They go, I get a new car every 3 years. Like, okay, well then, it's not as important to you. But I've seen people who say it's not important, and then after 3 years, they decide to give the car to their daughter or their kid. Now they haven't done the maintenance that they needed to do. And, you can't go back in time and change it.
And instead of it being, $150, $200 here and there, now all your maintenance over 3 years is piled up, and you're talking, 12, $1,500 all
Easy.
at once. It's a bigger burden. You do it as you go, do it a little early. Not only do you have vehicles like mine that hit 300,000 miles, but even me, when I got rid of mine, I still retailed that vehicle at 300,000 miles because it was still in great shape. It still had original transmission, original engine, had a cylinder head done a couple years ago, but at 240,000 miles, I think it earned a little wear and tear on those valves.
Yeah.
And in fact, I didn't even have to pay for that repair really, because I had taken such good care of it that the manufacturer had stepped in. Most dealerships offer services where when you do them, you get a protection plan on the vehicle for the life of the vehicle. If they don't, that's something you should definitely look into getting on board with, because I mean, if you plan on keeping it for 150,000 miles, having somebody else to step in and help pay for big repairs, that's a win. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I've seen transmissions go out at 70,000 miles, and I've seen them last 200,000 miles. It all falls on us to help make sure you're educated and make sure we can help you, equip you to win in that situation and not just be stuck with broke down cars. It's our job to keep your dreams on the road, not in my parking lot.
Yeah. And I get it. It's like going to the dentist or the doctor. It's not fun. You got to take off work. Get somebody to pick your kids up. It's just not fun going to the dealership, even though I'm shocked that more people don't take care of their $40,000 car, their $70,000 car. Oh, I'll do it later. Hopefully she's not watching, but I got a good friend. She'll call me and go, "Hey, you think if I bring my vehicle in, you can do an oil change today?" And I'm like, "Sure." So this is a true story. This was like 2 weeks ago. I hadn't seen her in 2 months. And she's like, I go, "Hey, where did you end up getting your oil changed?" I didn't. It's like, "What are you doing? Now you're 2 months over and you were behind then." "Well, I just got busy." And I was like, "How much did you pay for that car?" She's like, $52,000. I was like, "You have to stop." I said, "Don't bring it to me. Stop wherever you're at right now and go get an oil change. I don't care if it's aftermarket dealership, whatever, but you got to change that oil, or you're going to be calling me saying, 'Hey, there's a funny noise in my car and I need a wrecker.'"
Absolutely. And most of the cars being produced now, like he said, are 50,000, 60,000, 80,000 if you want to buy an SUV nowadays, like a full-size SUV, like a Tahoe, Sequoia, something
Even a pickup
along those
truck.
lines. Pickup trucks, 80,000 plus. I mean, if you do the math, that's a third of a house. So if
second biggest investment.
Yeah, exactly. And if the plumbing in your house started leaking, are you going to take a little tape around it and hope that tape holds the water leak in, or are you going to call a plumber out, fix the plumbing before it ruins the carpets and ruins the floor and ruins the walls? Or are you going to get a roofer out if you've got a water leak from your shingles, your roof? Are you going to get somebody out to fix that? Or are you going to hope that water leak doesn't do more damage? You're going to fix it because that's your biggest investment. Well, your car is the second biggest. So if you've got an $80,000 car and you want to keep it for 5 years and hope you get some money back out of it, you've got to make sure that you do take care of it, that the fluids are topped off, the oil is changed in a professional manner. There's no oil leaks when you return the car. Those are just the things you want to do to make sure you get your return on investment in what is the second biggest investment you're ever going to make, unless you own a business, then it's your third biggest.
So we've got about 15 minutes left, so I want to try to get a few more tips in. I think another tip is know what to do. So I'm the only weirdo that I know that reads owner's manuals. And now they're almost all digital, but I used to get those 500-page owner's manuals out and read them. And I always learned something. I'm in the business my whole life. I mean, my whole life since I was 8 years old. So I've been doing this 50 years and I still learn something new every time I read one of those owner's manuals. So I think it's human nature to put blinders on and think, well, if I don't look at it, nothing bad's going to happen. But I think if your advisor gives you a multi-point inspection, you should look at it and either get repaired what's suggested or say, hey, what am I going to be due for next time I get here? That way you've got 3 to 6 months to figure out to either save money for it or be thinking about it, talking about with your family. And it just makes you more prepared for when you go in. That way, when you call and make that appointment, you can say, last time I was there, yes, I need an oil change now, but the guy told me I was going to need a transmission service or tires or whatever. So it's just always best to know just 2 words, what's next, and have that guy that it's his title says advisor. That's his job, to advise you on what to do next.
I kind of wish we could change that job title to service educator.
Yeah,
because
that's good.
I mean, I've talked about it a lot. It's our job to help make sure we help you, equip you to win. And when I say to win, I don't mean we're going out on a field, but I am competitive, which is why I use that phrase.
It's good. I like that.
It's because at the end of the day, if your car broke down, you lost. That fight is over. The car broke down. You're spending money. You're spending time. You take care of it. The car doesn't break down. You've now won that game. That equation is now in your favor. So when you get that multi-point, if the service advisor doesn't explain it, or sometimes they don't even know how to explain it properly, mainly because there might be different education levels, you might have an experience or an expertise in something that they don't know anything about and don't know how to relate it with you. It never hurts to ask somebody else at the facility. So even though one person might be helping you, I mean, the first thing I did when I took over here a couple weeks ago is I took the blinds off my windows. The previous management had blinds on all the windows. It was a dark office. You really couldn't see in. I removed all the blinds.
Love it.
I invite customers to come sit with me. I invite customers to come talk to me. In fact, I can't believe I've called them customers this time. I normally call them guests because this is my house. This is my place. And they're guests here. And I want them to feel that way. And I invite them in because sometimes I can explain it differently than the service advisor did. Or sometimes another advisor can explain it differently that somebody can relate to and understand, so they know what's going on and they know how to actually address it and approach it properly. Because sometimes, and it's not always a language barrier, it's just sometimes we speak car.
Yeah.
So sometimes we forget that you might not speak car. And that's sometimes we're a different opinion. Somebody who has a wife that does something else or a husband that does something else may have heard somebody word it differently that makes more sense.
Yeah. And I know we use a lot of CEL and ACU and all that. I always try to slow down and say the actual words so the customer is telling their spouse, hey, we had to get this thing fixed. I don't know what it is, but hopefully they did a good multi-point inspection. MPI, it's a multi-point inspection. So I would look for that. I think that'll make your visit to the dealership better. I think another one that was a biggie for me forever when I was writing service, even past that, is when a customer comes in and they go, and I think I have an extended warranty. Do you know what it is? No. Where'd you buy the car? I can't remember. My husband bought it. Or my wife gave it to my son and he doesn't know. Keep that information in your glove box. That way, when you go to the dealership and you say, hey, my extended warranty is this. Because if not, you're going to be on the phone dialing 1-800 numbers. The advisor is going to be calling around trying to figure it out. And I don't know how many extended warranties there are. I need to look that up on AI.
Ooh, there's a lot.
I know we used to deal with about 50 of them back when we worked together.
I was going to say, I work with at least 60 to 70 different warranties here, just in Texas alone.
Half of them are terrible. There's a few at the very top that I really, really liked working with. But it would definitely make your visit, because the customer gets frustrated. They're like, you don't know what extended warranty I have? Well, I have no way to know that. Unless you bought it here and it's in our database, there's no way to know.
And we all know that joke, I'm reaching out to you to talk to you about your extended warranty on your vehicle that's about to expire. Those calls aren't the ones you want to buy.
No.
If you got that, if you got that little thing in the mail saying, we have a contract for your car, last chance, that's not the one you want to buy.
Probably not.
Even if you don't buy from whoever helps you maintain the car, we're a bucket of knowledge because we call them every day. So there's some out there, and I'm just so I don't make people mad, I'm not saying any companies out there.
Thank you.
But there's definitely some companies out there that we all know. You call it in, and it's a running joke. We tell the customer, this repair is going to be 3 to 5 days. And then they're like, okay, my warranty is whatever this warranty is I'm thinking about right now. And then we chuckle and say, okay, this is going to be about 7 to 10 days because they're going to send an inspector. They're probably going to send their own parts. They're probably going to send a second inspector because the first inspector was purchased off Temu and didn't know all the facts and didn't take notes and didn't take the right photos. And there's going to be delays in the process.
Yeah.
So even if you're not looking at buying it, because service, we don't generally sell contracts in service. Some dealerships do it. They don't generally do it in service. Normally that's a finance thing. So we make no money off selling you a contract, but we definitely build relationship with you if we help you get a good one. Because if we can't build that relationship, we're failing you.
Yeah, I think a lot of customers also believe that if we don't find something or we don't approve the repair, that we're saving money somehow, and we're not. We want to repair your car. Advisors, that's how they get paid. Is they don't get paid unless they repair your car, whether it's extended warranty that pays for it, the customer that pays for it, or the warranty from the manufacturer that pays for it. So that's a myth out there that's not true. The advisor wants to do a repair to your car if he can find it. There's just so many times that they can't find that issue that you brought it in for.
Oh yeah.
So
we're not in the car looking business. We're in the car fixing business. Looking at a car and not finding anything doesn't help anybody in these walls help you. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help the technicians. It doesn't help move parts off shelves onto cars. It doesn't help anybody. We want to, and that's why I talked about at the beginning about allocating enough time, because sometimes that information you're giving us is vital to figure out exactly what the car is doing. Because, customer can bring it in, guest comes in, my car acts up on the highway. So we hit the highway driving 60, 62 miles an hour, which is a little low, but we don't try to speed in customer cars and nothing acts up. And then go for a test drive with the customer to get them to duplicate it, and they hit 96 on an off ramp. Oh, okay, we're not driving the car right to see what's going on with it. You're gonna have to sign off on us to drive it this way. It's not legal.
Yeah.
Higher speed, high RPM isn't exactly a good way to duplicate a customer concern. But if that's what it takes, if you don't demonstrate that, there's nothing for us we can really do with it, because we have to abide by the laws. Because if we're pulled over in your car, it could be a bad situation for you and us.
Yeah, there's another thing that's just getting bigger and bigger right now, and that's customers that have cameras in their car. I like it, but I would like to know if there's a camera in the car when they drop the car off. I think a lot of people gotcha, but sometimes there's colorful language out in the shop. And I actually did have a customer that say, these guys talk like that all the time. And they're working on cars. They're not trained up here to talk to us humans. They're in the back burning their hands, smashing fingers, cutting themselves, getting dirty. And sometimes the language back there can get kind of bad. So, if you're going to be offended by that, then, let us know so we can know how to talk around your car. And it just keeps everybody honest instead of that gotcha moment.
Absolutely. Removing an oxygen sensor from a component that's about 1100 degrees, it's like stubbing your pinky toe on the corner of the bed on steroids.
It makes you cuss, even if you're a preacher.
Think about what you say when you stub your toe. That technician just grabbed a hold of it, forgetting the temperature of it, and now he smells burning flesh on his hand and wondering why he chose to do this for a living. And then he gets to see the car running at the end of the day and remembers, because I get to help people change their lives.
Yep. Seems like I had one more good tip. Can you think of any more? I should have written them down.
I know, right? It's been all over the place.
Yeah. I might post them later.
One more good tip is everybody has different communication styles.
True. Good one.
So especially at a European brand where I'm at now, I actually have met customers who don't want me to call them because they're going to be in meetings all day. And texting is unprofessional. They want a nice typed out email. Some customers don't want a phone call. They want a text message. Some customers, if you text them and say, your car needs X, 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 Y, 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 and it's going to cost $5,000, they're going to be like, what does all that mean? And they're going to want that phone call. So you've got to make sure as an advisor, we've got to make sure as a customer that we want to communicate the same way. So if the expectation is you want a phone call, we can make sure it is. And my advisor rule was 10 and 2. I called customers either at 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock. I'm told you're supposed to do it at both time frames. I think that's overkill, especially if your car's going to be there 8 days. You don't need, 16 phone calls.
Communication is huge.
So communication is paramount. So, if you have meetings in the morning and you're busy until 11:30, just let the advisor know, jot a note down in meetings until 11:30, call at 2. And then that way, when he goes to lunch at 12, comes back at 1, he does his rounds, gets with the technician, and at 2 o'clock, he's got an accurate update for you. It communicates the way you prefer on your time so that we can make sure we're all, again, moving in the same direction in this relationship instead of us calling at 10, leaving a voicemail, you calling back. We're in the middle of 3 things, so we don't remember what was going on at that time. So then we say we're going to call you back again, and it turns into the telephone game.
You said the word communication 3 times just then, and that reminded me of the other tip, and that's that try to tell the whole story of the problem that you're telling the service advisor. It's not everybody's fault sometimes, but I've seen customers come in. They go, yeah, my wife called in and made an appointment. Okay, cool. So it's already in there. Yeah, I don't want to have to tell you over again. So you do the recall that she called about. He leaves. He comes back in 10 minutes. He goes, hey, my light's still on. You guys didn't fix that. You didn't say to fix that. Well, my wife called it and she didn't. She said a recall. Maybe she thought that would fix the light, but let's get all the information.
Yes.
So I think sometimes other people, and it's totally innocent. I've done it myself. If you were in an accident a year ago, mention it. You know, you might not think it has anything to do with it, but you could have been in an accident, and that's why your air conditioner's not blowing. From a year ago, they didn't put something back in, which would still be covered by that insurance claim. So it's always good to get all that you can think about when you're telling the advisor, and it makes it easier for the technician to diagnose, and just communication is so important.
I mean, I've got a personal experience on that one. My wife, and it was before I married her, I wouldn't have.
Is she watching?
She might be watching.
Are you going to get in trouble?
I might get in trouble because I'm going to make fun of her driving a Ford. But she had wrecked her Ford at the time. She had it repaired at a body shop that her dad managed, but I got to insult both at once.
Nice.
So her dad was parts director at a Ford dealership, so they brought it to their body shop. They missed 2 clips on a wiring harness when they repaired the front end of this vehicle.
Yep, seen it a lot.
2 years later, it took 2 years. That car, if it hit a bump, if it took a U-turn, or if it had a sharp turn, would sputter for about 3 seconds and die. And then there would be 3 fuses that would blow inside there. It went to the Ford dealer. They couldn't figure out what was going on with it. She took it to a hole in the wall shop. They couldn't figure out with it. So I did the only logical thing, and I took it to the Chevy dealer who, we were going to trade her out of it. But the technician, who I have no idea how he got as good at electrical as he did, he looked at this thing and he pulled up wiring diagrams, printed them all off, and it took him about an hour to figure out what 2 other shops couldn't, which is there was 2 clips missing on the harness, and in one slight spot up against the transmission, the wire was chafing. Mm-hmm. And when you hit that bump just right, that tire would that wire would move, it would touch the transmission, ground out, and blow the ignition coil fuses. So it would get fuel for a second, sputter, and die. 2 shops fought it for 3 months, and a Chevy tech figured out the Ford when Ford couldn't.
Wow.
So it's always the weird things that we can help avoid.
So we got a few more minutes left, so let's just try to remember all the ones we talked about. Clean your car out from trash and fast food and objects and books and anything else.
Paraphernalia.
Get your car serviced during the winter. Get it serviced before you go on vacation. Give plenty of time when you come in to spend time with the advisor to go over all the issues you're having. Communicate, tell all the problems that you've experienced with the car. What else? I'm forgetting. I'm sure I am. Ask what's next. Bring your car in with the gas light not on. I always tell people at least half a tank. There's those small windows where they got to let all the gas out of the tank, which is a real pain. But just make sure the gas light's not on when you come in. So thank you, Josh, for being here today. I hope some customers got some good tips, and the next time they come in, we love our customers. We can't have a job without them. And we try to do different podcasts. Next time we might pick on general managers,
We do like to do
everybody in this food chain has a responsibility to take care of your car. And that's just a few things you can do to have a good experience at the dealership. So do you have anything else to say to anybody?
Would just appreciate everybody for taking the time.
Okay.
Look forward to meeting a lot of you. Hopefully I can start getting some of you in the door to help service your vehicles.
You can go to Eddie and Service, anything social media wise, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, TikTok, and you can go to eddieandservice.com and find all of them. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
We are ending right now.